The essay selected for this assignment is Isn't Everyone Selfish by Nathaniel Branden, which is found in chapter 5 of the book, The Virtue of Selfishness by Ayn Rand. The outlook of the article focuses on human selfishness based on egoism and altruism, and selfishness and self-sacrifice. This essay addresses ethical context on the issues of selfishness, showing everyone is selfish, and on the contrary, not selfish. In this video critique, I will support claims that everyone is selfish. Nathaniel Branden identifies a question that is many times raised to object the ethics of rational self-interest. Everybody does what they really want to do and would not do it if they did not want to do it. Acts of selfishness are directed by the goal of motivation of the desires of the actor. Selfish acts are done knowingly or unknowingly. The moral stand of selfishness is that the actions of an individual are guided by their choices and their actions. These actions, in return, are determined by the cause and the purpose of one's life. In the article, Nathaniel Branden states that every individual is faced with alternatives before they choose to act and identify their goals. Initially, for a person to make a choice, they have to look at the value that they will derive from their choices. The aspect of value is further looked at whom is to derive it. Is it the actor or is it another person? Additionally, before acting, an individual looks first at what benefits will accompany their goals. Individuals, through their goals, knowingly or unknowingly try to identify whether their primary moral goal is to satisfy their happiness and life or intends to serve others. The major driving force of being selfish is self-interest. An individual ought to identify what makes them their self-interest and how to achieve it. In this regard, one has to identify the goals and values to pursue and the policies and principles to be adapted to make this possible. If one is not aware of their goals, it is difficult to identify their self-interest. Therefore, in such an instance, the individual is said to be not to have self-interest, hence is not selfish. Nathaniel ideates that selfishness entails a set of chronologically identified values that are in accordance with the standards of one's personal interests. Consequently, he states that refusal to sacrifice a high value and settle for a low or non-value is an act of selfishness. Selfishness is a part of human reality. Determination of what is can be made by reason. Therefore, acting is in defiance or contradiction of self-interest is defiance to reality, which turns out to be destructive. Self-destruction cannot be equated to self-sacrifice, and individuals do not hold a self-interest or self-destruction. In that case, to avoid self-destruction, individuals act as per their self-interest, thus in one way or another become selfish. Thinking is driven by an individual's self-interest, while not being conscious is not part of self-interest. Additionally, setting short and long-term goals with full knowledge of life and values qualifies as self-interest, while acting on the impulsivity of the moment without consideration of the short or long-term outcomes on one's life is not self-sacrifice. Selfishness leads an individual to choose their reason being guided by reason. The primary focus of an individual while deciding to act or settling on particular goals is what determines his selfishness. Majorly, the primary goal of an individual is to benefit themselves despite that others may benefit from their actions. Selfishness is a moral responsibility whereby individual feels obligated to achieve self-sacrifice and refuse to act otherwise by compromising one's values and goals due to the impulsivity, feelings, and moods of the moment. Claims that everyone is not selfish are not found on truth and life's reality. The aspect of human selfishness is inherent. This statement can be supported by the article whereby it states that everyone acts selfishly, knowingly or unknowingly. Those opposing that everyone is selfish focus on the evil side of selfish, ignoring the good side of selfishness. When individuals come of age and begin realizing their surrounding, they tend to develop various interests. The personal interests identified are followed by creation of goals that will help in achieving their interests. For instance, everyone desires to be successful in life and be self-reliant. In that case, we all strive to pursue our dreams by getting an education and eventually pursuing our career paths. Everyone, including us in this class, our major and primary aim of pursuing our careers is to become independent, despite that other people will benefit from what we do. The idea that individuals are driven by self shows that human beings are selfish in nature. Take a wild guess. Are infants selfish? Yet they are born so innocent. Surprisingly, infants and children are utterly selfish. When a baby is born, the doctor taps the baby to ensure it is breathing. Upon being tapped, the baby cries. The cry signifies that the baby has realized that it has left its comfort zone and has come to a world where it needs to focus on itself and ensure that its needs are met. From that instance on, the baby cries whenever it is hungry for it to be fed, cries to be washed and clothed, and also cries to be put to bed. If you have come across a baby, you realize that its needs are satisfied first, without putting into considerations the feelings, the ability, the values, or the benefits of its givers or parents. The ethical context of ethics of selfishness can be supported by the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The actions of every individual on our planet are driven by the desire to satisfy our essential and secondary needs. At the base of the pyramid of Maslow's hierarchy of needs are food, shelter, clothing, and education. There is no one point that the need to satisfy these basic needs will be motivated by the need to serve others. Rather, individuals will strive to satisfy their personal needs before focusing on helping others. We do not believe there is any one individual in the planet who sleeps out in the cold, leaving others to enjoy the comfort of their bed and security of their houses. Also, I would not believe that an individual would give away their food to another and be left hungry without an alternative. At the tip of the needs pyramid lies the final aspect of human needs, which is self-actualization. Self-actualization is whereby an individual has reached the peak of satisfaction of needs, whereby he can comfortably satisfy his basic and secondary needs. At this point, the individual has attained his desired social status, personal and professional goals. Attainment of self-actualization is not motivated by the need to benefit others as a primary goal. Instead, it is driven by the need to benefit self being the primary goal. In every aspect of life, the actions, feelings, and mood of an individual focus on self, after which, when self-satisfaction is attained, then one can think and act in a bid to serve others. However, even in acting in service to others, the element of selfishness cannot be entirely eliminated. One cannot serve others without thinking of the impact of their actions to others and themselves. Take, for instance, giving money or food to a street child. Everyone tends to think, if I help this street child, he will not feel the need to steal, therefore, our society will be secure, therefore, I will be safe. This is an indication that we are all selfish, even though not in a bad way. In conclusion, in the article we explored selfishness and self-interest. We identified that selfish acts are either done knowingly or unknowingly. The aspect of selfishness is innate. We are born selfish. Our primary goals, values, and focus on who benefits is self. Self-satisfaction comes ahead of serving others. We have looked at babies being born selfish, requiring that their needs be met first by crying. Also, we have concluded, as per the article, that everybody is selfish by looking at the intention of everybody to satisfy their self-interest first, through actions they chose which can later be of value or benefit to others.